Some of the steps to becoming an entrepreneur. The first step I'd like to start off with is a step that has nothing to do with entrepreneurship. It's the first step to becoming whatever it is you think you want to be. And my advice to you is to ask yourself, do I want this profession, let's call it entrepreneurship, do I want entrepreneurship with all of its flaws, but yet all of its reward? If it's a policeman, if it's a fireman, if it's a teacher, if it's a pastoral, whatever. In every job or profession or passion you choose, you have to ask yourself, do you want all the pain along with all the joy? Because no matter what you fall in love with, no matter what you choose to do, nothing in life is easy. It all has pain and it all has joy. Entrepreneurship, that's the first thing you want to do before you decide on being an entrepreneur. Number two, you want to decide, am I a risk taker? And you want to do a deep dive in that. What does it mean to be a risk taker? It doesn't necessarily mean that you've got to go to Vegas and you've only got $100 and you're willing to lose that entire $100. A lot of people think that's what risk is. No, risk is way more than that. It's being told every single day, no, wrong. Being a risk taker is when everything seems impossible, but you find a way, whether it's that from yourself or whether it's from some expert in some country that you've never even heard of. Becoming an entrepreneur means that you have some sort of risk tolerance. Risk is not driving fast. Risk is not going to Vegas and spending money you don't have. Risk is the ability that no matter what is in front of you, you continue to find a way to make it happen. That's risk. Because you're going to be told no. You're going to be told no all the time when you're an entrepreneur. The next step in becoming an entrepreneur is coming up with an idea. A good idea. There's a difference between an idea and a good idea. And I could spend all day and all night telling you the difference between good ideas and bad ideas, but that's not for this program today. But in order to become an entrepreneur, you need a good idea. You need a good idea that not you only think is good. You need a good idea that not just your friends think is a good idea. Your friends are going to tell you what you want to hear. You want a good idea that your enemy goes, holy stinking holy. That's a good idea. So first, you look at, do I fall in love with what I don't like about entrepreneurship as much as what I like about entrepreneurship? And you do that with any profession. Number two is you got to make sure you're a risk taker if you're going to be an entrepreneur. Number three, you got to have an idea. And number four, you need resources to fund that idea. A lot of people think that they need to go raise money. And yeah, that's kind of true, but it's not entirely true. The least amount of money you need from others, OPM is not a good thing. Now, you may need OPM, other people's money. But try your hardest not to do it. Try to be an innovator, entrepreneur, and make it happen without taking a dime from a bank or from anyone else. Go make that product, go sell that product, get pre-sales, but you need to resource your idea. And a lot of people think I could go the traditional route of taking other people's money through investment or a bank or borrowing money from a friend. Just be really careful about that because no money is free. To take someone else's money costs money. If you could take your idea and turn it into gold by snapping your fingers, you're a wonderful entrepreneur. But you got to have the idea. You got to have resources for that idea. And then the fifth step is problems are going to come your way. Lots of problems, not just a few problems. Not just a manager coming to tell you that you're late. These problems are huge and they come with significant responsibility. I've earned every gray hair I have on my head due to entrepreneurship. So how do you find the motivation to go through those hard times? How do you find the motivation to keep going? How do you find the motivation? You got to love your idea so much. You got to love the mission of your company. You got to love what you're doing. You see, my first idea when I became an entrepreneur was to make a shock absorbing crutch. It was to make a product better for everyone else who had to use a crutch for daily living. And I lived my whole entire life with doctors telling me continuously, you can't do this, you can't do that. Where do I find the motivation? I find it from the passion I have for the product. I have it motivation for the passion I have for the industry. And I have the passion to be one heck of a very successful person in life. Where do I find the passion? Where do I find the motivation to be an entrepreneur through all the hard times? I love that our products provide safety, mobility, and comfort to others. I love it. I love that we're revolutionizing healthcare. I love that no one has to go through the same situation I did. When you get to the other side of the rainbow, it is nice. Yes, you may have some bigger problems, and yes, you'll always have problems, but there are some huge benefits to becoming an entrepreneur. You don't have to listen to others as much as you do working for someone else, and you get to put your feet in the water pretty often. So the 5 steps of becoming an entrepreneur. First step is, do I fall in love with its weaknesses as much as I do with its strengths? You gotta love its weaknesses. Number 2, you've gotta be a risk taker. You've gotta understand what it means to be a risk taker. Number 3 is you gotta have an idea. And it's got to be a good idea. Number 4, you need resources to fund that idea. And number 5, you just got to keep swimming. You got to continue going down that road no matter what comes your way. Those are the 5 steps of becoming an entrepreneur.